Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Defy Aging for week 17. This week, we are going to be doing stations that are supersets within each station. If those of you who have been with us for quite a while, we've done something similar in the past, so this might not be new for you. So there are five stations, but at each station, there's two exercises, and we're going to switch from exercise 1 to exercise 2 halfway through the set. And that's typically a superset is when you do two things like back to back with very little break. Okay, so we are going to go through those stations, and I'll explain during each demonstration how to transition from exercise 1 to exercise 2 smoothly and seamlessly. So 5 stations, but technically 10 exercises. So let's get right to our demonstrations. No, let's not. I forgot to mention, it's going to be 3 rounds of 60 seconds on and 40 seconds off. And I wanted a long working set because, again, you are going to be switching to a second exercise all within that same 60-second time frame. So at the 30-second mark, that's when you'll switch from exercise 1 to exercise 2. It'll make more sense during our demonstration coming up. All right, station 1 is a TRX row, standard row, so we're not throwing anything fancy into the mix there. And then second to a bicep curl, which I know we did a lot of curls last week. That's okay. Our arms can always get stronger. So quick reminder on our rows. We're going to hold on, arms straight, palms turned in, and we pull our body up, release back, keeping your body straight. So make sure we're not like thrusting forward like this or bending the hips at the way back. So just keep your body as straight and flat as a plank. And the lower you step your feet, the harder this gets because you're lower. You're pulling against gravity a little bit more. So that's our TRX row. At the halfway point, there's a little bit of transition here. You got to drop that and pick up 2 dumbbells, which I forgot to grab the dumbbells. But we did curls last week. We know bicep curls. So that you'll lose a couple of seconds there by dropping the TRX and having to bend down and pick up the weights. But make sure your weights are just right there and ready to go so you don't lose too much time transitioning. And then we finish out the 60 seconds with bicep curls. Make sure we're not shrugging the shoulders when we curl. Make sure we're not swinging them back for momentum. And make sure you're allowing the arms to come all the way down. All right, keep all of that in mind with your curls. That is station 1. Okay, station 2 is going to be a kettlebell deadlift to a reverse lunge. Okay, so our deadlifts, we do these quite often. So I know for many of you, it's definitely a review. For some of you, it might be new. We're going to hold a kettlebell right in between at the center here. Now, arms are just dead weight, hence the name deadlift. So when you come up from the movement, we want to make sure we're not lifting with the arms, doing like a shrug. Arms are just dead weight. Want to shift your hips back as you hinge and fold forward. So watch my hips. They're starting here, and they're going to end about here because I'm shifting my hips back. Your legs stay mostly straight, just a soft bend in your knee. So we want to make sure we're not turning it into a squat. Okay, you should feel a pretty good hamstring stretch here. It's actually very similar to our good morning stretch that's in our warm-up. And we want to keep those shoulders down and back so that our upper back doesn't round. If you notice, my back's nice and flat. I want to avoid this with that rounded back. So watch me fix this. I popped out my hips and I pushed my shoulders down. So that does take some getting used to if it's new for you. That's the first 30 seconds. The second 30 seconds is stationary reverse lunges. So if you already know that these are stations. I was thinking in your own space for a moment. You can use something for balance. Hopefully the coaches will put this station near a rack or a wall in case you would like a little balance assistance. No problem. Make sure that when you go back, you're keeping your back foot perfectly forward, and we're not doing this and turning out the foot. I know that helps us feel more balanced. However, it throws off the alignment of your ankle and therefore then your knee and your hip. So we don't want to be stepping back like this. That just hurt even going halfway down. That back foot should stay straight, and you roll up onto the toe as you bend down. Make sure we're not folding forward like this. So try to keep your chest up relatively tall and straight. And we're going to alternate legs with each rep. Don't worry about how many reps you're getting. Just think about quality, good reps. Okay, so that's station 2, deadlift and reverse lunge. Station 3 is mountain climbers. to a low plank hold. So that's a standard plank on the forearms. Very easy transition from the first one to the second one. Let me show you. Mountain climbers, you're in a high plank for this, the beginning of it. Start one leg in like this, and there's a couple ways to do them. There's also an incline for anyone not getting to the floor. We'll get there. You can kind of jump the feet, but I recommend shooting for more of a running of the foot. It's not any more impact on the knees. I actually think it's less. Just adds a little intensity and speed. So watch what I mean by that. My top foot here isn't touching the floor. And then when I switch legs, the other foot's not going to touch the floor. So I'm kind of running the knees into my chest. Okay. That is pretty high intensity. I'll show you that other thing I mentioned, kind of jumping them. And with this one, you're kind of switching in the air. I actually think that one is harder, but you do whichever works for you. Try whichever one gets more high intensity for you. At the halfway point, we're going to come down to the forearms and hold a standard plank. We can also, of course, do a knee plank if needed. Both of those are doable up on an incline. So if anyone's not getting on the floor, I'll just do a really quick demo of that. Incline mountain climbers will look like this. And then we come down for our incline plank. Just make sure on this one that we don't have the hips up too high. So make sure your hips are sunken down low. But anyway, that's station 3. Everything, a little more core focus on station 3. Okay, station 4, we have a ball slam. Nothing new for many of us. Try to catch it on the bounce and get a good amount of momentum on the way down, so it does do that good bounce. That's the first one. We drop it to the side halfway through. We're doing a lateral floor run. We had the lateral box step last week. This is the same foot pattern as that. We aren't using a box. It's more of an agility foot drill because we're going for speed. So we go in, out, out, add as much speed as you can. Okay. So that's the second one. Those two, easy to transition from one to the other. So that's station 4. Okay, final station, shoulders and a little bit of legs. So first one is going to be a standard overhead shoulder press. We do this move quite a bit, so nothing fancy or different about this. Halfway through, we're going to turn it into a racked squat. So take those same weights, turn them like this, palms in. They're kind of hovering right above the shoulder, and we keep them there as we do some squats. So racked squats are tricky because the weights want to do this. They want to fall, but we need to use the strength in our shoulders and our abdominals to keep the arms up like this. So think about that when you're doing your racked squat. It's going to be, that racked position is going to be extra challenging after doing 30 seconds of the presses first. So just keep that in mind. Your shoulders are really going to feel that. But anyways, those are the 2 for station 5. Okay, the team builder this week, it's going to actually be more of a finisher because we aren't going to be working as a team. But this routine, I believe, is very aerobic. So it's going to be a lot of cardio. It's also, there's a lot of muscle work involved. So for our finisher, it's going to be more of a brain teaser this time, the cognitive components of our Defy training. So it's a hand drill. If you've been with us for multiple years, you've definitely done this one before because I have tossed it in the past. But what you do is start with, a few of you are probably rolling your eyes at this moment because you know what this is going to be. It's hard. Put your 4 fingers up on one hand and your thumb on the other hand. Okay, and then we are trying to switch that hand position at the same time. And it is much harder than it looks. I've just been practicing it for 15 years, so I have it down pretty good. But I had struggled at first too. So what's going to probably happen a lot is your hand wanting to do one at a time. So that's probably going to happen. Also, these darn thumbs get in the way because they want to both stay in or they want to both stick out. So you're going to see a lot of like all 5 fingers or a lot of just the thumb. Anyway, it is tricky. I'll show you one more time. 4 fingers on one hand, thumb on the other, and at the same time. So the switch happens simultaneously. They are switching position. Okay, so we'll just dedicate a couple of minutes of that at the end of each session. Get the mind, muscle, body, proprioception, awareness, cognitive, all those words, get that in there. I think it's kind of fun because it's challenging, but good luck. Let's see how it goes. All right, everybody, that's week 17. Hope you enjoy this different kind of routine this week, and we'll see you back next week.